Close your eyes and imagine you're lost in a cold, desolate world where your lonely heart longs for a true embrace of love. In that very moment of despair, Jesus tells us a story that not only touches the soul, but awakens a long-buried hope. It's the parable of the prodigal son, a journey to the depths of brokenness, then lifted by unconditional love. Jesus didn't share this story to condemn, but to heal, to lead you back home. When the father ran to embrace his lost son, it was the image of Jesus embracing every shattered soul. No matter how far you've strayed, how deeply you've fallen, Jesus is still waiting for you. With a gentle heart, endless forgiveness, and a love beyond understanding. This is not just an ancient tale. Jesus is speaking to you right now. And now, let us listen to this story once more, to be reminded that no matter who you are or what you've done, Jesus is always waiting for you to come home. Have you ever felt like you've gone too far from who you used to be, too far from home, too far from grace? Maybe after a string of wrong turns, reckless choices, or silent nights when guilt keeps you awake, you wonder, would anyone still want me back? Jesus once told a story, not just for teaching, but for healing. A story about a father and his two sons, a story that holds more than words. It holds a mirror. And when you look into it, maybe, just maybe, you'll see a part of yourself. Today, we step into the parable of the prodigal son, not to judge it, not to analyze it, but to feel it, to walk its road, to meet a father whose love never gave up, no matter how far the son ran. The story begins, as many do, with a choice. The younger of the two sons came to his father and said, "Father, give me my share of the inheritance." It was more than a request. It was a rupture. In that culture, asking for an inheritance while the father was still alive was like saying, "I want your stuff, not you. I'm done waiting. I want to live on my terms now." And the father doesn't argue. He doesn't plead. He simply divides what he has and gives the younger son his portion. Just like that, the son leaves, bags packed, heart burning with ambition and dreams of freedom. He heads to a distant country, as far from home as he can go. And for a while, it's everything he imagined. No more rules, no more waiting. Just open skies, fast thrills, and no one to say no. But freedom without purpose is a slow descent. He doesn't realize it yet. But every coin he spends, every night he parties, every mile he puts between himself and home, he's not just running from his father, he's running from himself. And the farther he goes, the more lost he becomes. The money doesn't last forever. Eventually, the shine fades, the nights grow quiet, the friends disappear. And then, a famine strikes the land, a harsh, unforgiving season. The once proud young man, who lived like a king in a foreign land, is now desperate, hungry, broke, and alone. He looks for work, any work, and he finds it in the filthiest place imaginable. He's hired to feed pigs. To a Jewish man, pigs were unclean, disgusting, untouchable. But now he finds himself not only tending them, but envying them. He's so hungry that he longs to eat the pods the pigs are eating. No one gives him anything. No hand reaches out. No face shows him mercy. He is invisible. This is rock bottom, not just physically, but spiritually. He had chased freedom, and now he's trapped. He had sought life, and now he's surrounded by death. And in this pit, he finally begins to hear a voice, not from outside, but from within. A whisper, faint but growing louder. What am I doing here? How did I get so far from home? He had left looking for himself, but in losing everything, he begins to find what truly matters. In the silence of the pig pen, something shifts. The young man, filthy, starving, humiliated, comes to his senses. He remembers the warmth of home, the kindness of his father, the dignity even the hired servants had under his father's roof. How many of my father's servants have food to spare, and here I am starving to death? I will go back. I will say, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants. He rehearses the words again and again, not out of pride, but out of desperation. He no longer claims sonship. He just hopes for mercy. So he gets up, tired, ashamed, empty-handed, but moving toward home. What he doesn't know is that someone's been watching the road. Even from a distance, the father sees him, and the moment he does, he runs, not walks, not waits. Runs, arms wide, heart racing. The son tries to speak. Father, I have sinned. But the words barely leave his lips before he's wrapped in an embrace. No judgment, no punishment, only love. The father calls out, "Quick! Bring the best robe. Put a ring on his finger, sandals on his feet. Kill the fattened calf. Let's feast and celebrate. Because what was lost has now been found, and what was dead is alive again." Servants rush to bring the finest robe, clean, beautiful, worthy of a son. A ring, symbol of identity and authority, is slipped onto the young man's finger. Sandals are placed on his worn feet. The fattened calf, saved for a special occasion, is prepared. Music rises, laughter fills the air. The table is set. But this is no ordinary celebration. This isn't for a wedding or a holiday. This is a resurrection. The father proclaims with joy, "My son was dead, and now he's alive. He was lost, and now he's found." And so they begin to celebrate. Not because the son earned it, not because he deserved it, but because grace had come home. Love didn't just forgive him, love restored him. And in that moment, the broken was made whole again. But not everyone is celebrating. While music and laughter echo from the house, the older brother is out in the field, working, faithful, obedient. As he approaches the home, he hears the sound of dancing. Confused, he asks a servant what's going on. The answer stings. "Your brother has come home, and your father has killed the fattened calf because he's back safe and sound." But instead of joy, anger floods his heart. He refuses to go in. So the father comes out again and pleads with him. But the older son erupts. "All these years I've slaved for you. I never disobeyed. Yet you never gave me even a goat to celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours, who squandered everything, comes back, you throw him a feast." You can almost hear the hurt behind the pride. The father gently replies, "My son, you are always with me. Everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate. Your brother was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." Two sons, both distant. One ran away, the other stayed close, but with a closed heart. And still, the father loves them both. This story is not just about two sons, it's about us. Because at some point, we've all been the younger son, chasing freedom, losing our way, ending up in places we never thought we'd be. And at other times, we've been the older brother, dutiful on the outside, but bitter and distant on the inside. But this story is not called The Tale of Two Sons. It's the story of a father who runs toward the broken, who covers shame with love, who restores what was lost, and who gently reminds the proud, all I have is already yours. The Father doesn't just wait inside the house. He comes out. He meets us on the road. He meets us in the field. He meets us in our pride, in our pain, in our rock-bottom moments. And he says, come home, not when you've cleaned up, not when you've earned it, but now, because grace doesn't wait for perfection. It runs toward repentance. So wherever you are today, whether far from God or quietly angry in his house, know this: the Father is looking for you, and he's already on his way.